Hey everybody, how are you today? This is Jim Prusak here at the Pain PT. We're going to continue our talk about suppression and its effects on you. This is part two, and I'm going to go through the research that I was alluding to in my first YouTube video about suppression. We're going to go through four studies here today that look at thought, emotion, and symptom suppression and its effects. Okay, so let's get started. So, this first study, I want to show you guys how when you suppress your physical symptoms, your pain, you actually make it worse. Okay, so this is one of the things I keep saying in terms of letting your pain come and letting it go, letting it move through you with acceptance. So this study is going to support what we've been teaching here. So what they did was look at over 200 undergraduate students, and they looked at groups that were meant to suppress, accept, and then what they call spontaneous cope with different exposure to a cold pressor procedure, which is basically applying a very cold temperature to the skin. Now, the suppression group, meaning it's supposed to suppress their ability to deal with these distressing pain from the cold, they show the shortest tolerance time to the cold, while the acceptance group showed the longest tolerance time. So what it's telling us, if we can accept the pain, we can accept their symptoms, we can tolerate them longer. And the acceptance group showed pain and distress ratings that were significantly lower than the other groups with the suppression group. So what it's telling us is not only can we tolerate things better, we can cope better, but the actual pain is less when we can practice acceptance. And the pain is worse when we're trying to suppress it, which is the same thing as trying to get rid of our pain. That's why I'm saying you don't try to treat your pain, you try to accept it. Now, the other thing that came out of this was that not only did the suppression group showed more pain and more distress, they talked about this rebound effect here. The last sentence here is the presence of a rebound of physical discomfort with the effects of suppression. So when we suppress our physical symptoms, there's a rebound, just like you're going to see when you suppress your mental thoughts or your emotional feelings, there's a rebound of more of those things. And this is what the study is showing. So let's move on to the next study. This is involving emotions, hiding feelings, the acute effects of inhibiting negative and positive emotion. So they looked at 180 female participants and they were watching films, sad, neutral, or amusing films, under two different conditions. One of them was a suppression. They were supposed to inhibit any expressive behavior while watching the film. The other group was just simply watch the films, don't suppress anything. So what they found was that in both the positive and emotion films, so the sad and amusing films, the people who suppressed their feelings had an increased sympathetic nervous system activation of their cardiovascular system. So what this is showing us is that when we suppress our natural emotions, whether they're negative or positive, we hide our feelings, we suppress our feelings, we get an increase in the sympathetic nervous system. And as you guys know, I talk a lot about that fight or flight nervous system. That is the sympathetic nervous system. It becomes activated, okay, which is what we don't want. We want that nervous system to be calming down, and we're activating the parasympathetic nervous system. So we want to learn to express these emotions when they come instead of suppress them, because they're actually making us worse. Okay, the next study, the third one, is going to look at your thoughts now. So thought suppression, catastrophizing, and pain. Now again, catastrophizing is showing up again, so we'll talk about that, as I've talked many times before. So with this particular study, what they did was look at thought intrusions and then thought suppression and catastrophizing with pain. Okay, so they put people into this like ice water immersion. Okay, where they put the arm in ice water, and they made pain ratings there. Okay, so half the participants were asked to suppress any procedure-related thoughts about putting their arm in this really cold water, and the remainder of the group were asked to record their ongoing thoughts. So the results basically show that the people who suppressed their thoughts and catastrophizing, both those things were associated with heightened pain experience, meaning they had more pain again. Okay, they also had more thoughts. So, like I've been saying before, when we try to suppress our thoughts, we actually get more thoughts. We get that rebound effect, and we actually get more pain. Okay, so the link between thought suppression and catastrophizing, both those things cause more pain. Now, you guys already know about catastrophizing because I talked to you about that and how that also increases pain. But just realizing that we have this tendency, and it's very unconscious because of our upbringing, because of our society, because of what's happened to us, different experiences, that we may be suppressing our emotions, our thoughts, and same thing with our physical symptoms. We may be trying to suppress those as well. All three of these things, as you're seeing here from the research, show that you're going to get more of that. It's going to get worse. So the last study we're going to look at here is anger suppression and its impact on pain severity and pain behaviors among chronic pain patients. Interesting study. Okay, so we looked at what they call anger inhibition or suppression and chronic pain severity. It took 58 chronic low back pain patients, either were assigned to a suppression group or a non-suppression group, while they performed a computer maze task with somebody who was harassing them. Now, what they looked for were the outcomes of anger, self-reported anger, anxiety, and sadness following this maze task. The patients that were told to suppress what was coming up during this sort of provocation, they reported greater anger following the maze task, and they also reported greater pain intensity during it. And they also exhibited more pain behaviors than the patients who did not suppress. Okay, so what they found was that the conclusion here, as you can see at the bottom, was the attempts by these low back pain patients to suppress their anger may aggravate the pain, okay, through actually, ironically, increasing their anger. So we don't realize what we think is helping us is hurting us with suppression. Like I mentioned in my other video, we think we're helping us by pushing down or stopping these things, but we're actually making it worse. As you can see here from these 4 studies, the tendency to suppress makes something stronger with that rebound effect. So whatever it is you're suppressing comes back to you stronger, whether it's a thought, an emotional feeling, or a pain. And also you're finding that when you suppress your thoughts and you suppress your emotions, they also cause more pain. So we want to keep working on dropping our suppression of all these things. And it's a big piece of the puzzle because we see a lot of people doing this. It's one of the main premises of Dr. Sarna's work is that we get emotional suppression, or what he calls repression, which is a step deeper. We're not conscious we're doing it. And that's why we get physical symptoms. So I hope this was helpful, guys, to share with you some actual science and research to back up what I've been telling you. I try to be evidence-based in what I'm presenting to you guys. I'm not trying to make this up, but there's actual real science supporting what we're doing here. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.